Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and if you're not new here, my name is still Kyra. And here on this channel, we're all about real makeup for real life and real people. As you would have seen by the title today, I have an entire basket of makeup that I have hit pan on in 2021. Now, I had taken a break from project panning for about a year during 2020, and that was great. But then this year I came to with a fiery burning passion for project panning, and I've really enjoyed project panning this year, and we can talk more about that in another video if you like, why I think I'm enjoying project panning more now than I did in the past. But today I'm just going to go through and show you all the makeup that I have hit pan on this year. So this is all just in a basket, willy-nilly style. I'm not going to do it in any particular order, but I will tell you the project in which I hit pan on this, and I will have my project panning playlist linked down below in case you want to go and check out any of those videos. So the first eyeshadow palette that I wanted to share with you is my C Color Cosmetics Savannah palette. This is meant to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Safari palette, and I did hit pan on shade number 6 here. It's a peachy shade. It wasn't hard. This is still currently in my 21 pans in 2021. I'm working on the green shade and the mustard shade, so wish me luck on that one. I also hit pan in my Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. I think I'm very near to pan on the shade Tempera, but the shade that I did hit pan on is the shade Rose Pink, and again, I did hit pan on that in my 21 pans in 2021. Stay tuned for next year because I'm going to do a huge fun eyeshadow project pan. I'm just really enjoying getting use out of my collection, so again, stay tuned for that. My most recent eyeshadow pans, however, in my collection are in my ABH Norvina palette. I have hit 3 pans in this palette. I worked on it for a few months, but then all the pans kind of came at once within like a week of each other. So I've hit pan on Dreamer, Base, and one of my favorite shades in the palette, Dazzling. And I'm just very happy. I think this is probably the most pan I have in any of the palettes that I currently own. So I was very excited about that. Also earlier this year, I hit pan on a shade in my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I'm curious if you still have yours or you're still using it. But I did go ahead and hit pan in my favorite shade in the palette, which is Luscious. And this is one of my, if not my very first high-end palette in my collection. Hubby bought it for me, so it is quite special and I'm keeping it. There's nothing wrong with it. I also hit pan on a couple of single shadows here. I still have them in this palette. These 3 over here are shades that I am still currently working on, but this is the shade Vanilla Freeze from Beauty Junkies, as well as the shade Tiki Shed from Beauty Junkies. I was very happy to hit pan on those, and I would like to continue to work on single eyeshadows within my collection and, you know, make sure that they're getting as much use as my palettes are. Continuing on with eyeshadow, I semi-hate panned this product way earlier in this year, and it is my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Luxury Eyeshadow Quad. The reason I say hate pan is because I bought this and it's really nothing special. At some point I'd like to just pan as much of this as I can, but I did hit pan, good size pan, in the very first shade in the palette. It's a nice light goldy champagne color. It's a beautiful color story, and if this is something you would use every day, then it's probably worth the price, maybe. I don't know. I don't think the eyeshadow's all that special, if I'm being honest. I also hit pan in one of my all-time favorite palettes in my collection, which is my Persona Identity palette. I did go ahead and hit pan in the shade Seductive earlier this year, much earlier this year. And I definitely would like to see more pan in this palette in the future. I also recently hit pan in my e.l.f. Pumpkin Pie bite-size eyeshadow quad, this beautiful bronze shade, a favorite bronze in my collection. So that was very fun to work on that one. And then I believe my very first eyeshadow pan of the year came from my Viseart Paris Edit palette, and it is in this shade up here called Creme Brulee. Little pinprick pan. I did have to take out my dark purple shimmer. It just kept crumbling and making a huge mess. So every time I opened this, I had a huge mess. So I just let go of that shade. But I do like this palette. I would like to work on it again in the future. But that's it for eyeshadow. That's a lot of eyeshadow. That's 8 palettes that I've hit pan in this year, which is amazing, plus the 2 single shadows. Moving on to face, I did very early in the year hit pan on my mini Hourglass ambient lighting powder in the shade Diffused Light. I do really like this for blending out cheek products, so it really wasn't too hard to hit pan on. I also like the look of this on my under eyes at certain times of the year, so I was glad to hit pan on that. I would probably like to finish that one next year. For bronzer, I believe this was another one of my very first pans of the year, and that is my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. My girl Angela over at Beauty and Life with Angela actually finished hers this year, which I think is outstanding. But I do have just a little pan right down here. And I kind of quit using this after I hit pan on it. I mean, I used it a few times after that, but I definitely would like to work on that more. Another bronzer that I hit pan on this year, and this was in Partners in Cream. All the rest of these so far have been in 21 pans in 2021. Now moving on to Partners in Cream, I hit pan in my Fenty Beauty Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. Huge, nice pan in there. Somehow, other than pictures, I don't have any record of this in my bullet journal, but I know I hit pan on this in Partners in Cream this year. Also in Partners in Cream this year is my Basic Beauty Jelly Blush in the shade It's October 3rd. I'm trying to finish this before the end of the year, but I did hit pan on this year. Like, honestly, I think it was like the first day of the project. I had no idea it was coming and I hit pan on it, but now I'm trying to finish it. And then a few cheap products from 21 pans in 2021. I hit pan on one of my favorite blushes, although again, I have not used this a lot since hitting pan. Again, pretty small pan, but this is the e.l.f. blush in the shade Mellow Mauve. I do love this blush. It's one that I should probably consider working on again next year, just because it's getting older in my collection. Also in 21 pans, I hit pan on my MAC Glow Play blush in the shade So Natural, and I really enjoyed using this. And then lastly, I hit pan on my ColourPop Super Shock highlight in the shade Lunch Money. Love this. So, from my calculations, I have hit 17 pans out of 21 pans in the 21 pans in 2021 project, but I have also hit pan into additional products in my Partners in Cream project. So that is 19 pans that I've hit this year, and I just couldn't be happier about that. I feel like ever so slightly I'm moving to the place where my collection looks loved, that I know my products really well. Thoughts and opinions are cemented in my mind palace of makeup, my little mental inventory of what I have and what I feel about those products. So I just, like I said, could not be happier to be in this place. I'm really looking forward to project panning next year, because I'm already writing down things that I would like to work on to keep in mind for when I am picking my products for early 2022. That's crazy. I will have in December a year-end makeup empties where you will see some of the other products that I have worked on project panning, like foundations, concealers, lip glosses, things like that. I have finished multiple concealers this year in Partners in Cream, along with foundations. I have finished several this year. So I just am really pleased with what I've accomplished this year in terms of making use out of my collection. Let me know down below, what's your pan situation? Are you a project panner? And if you are, how many pans have you hit this year? It doesn't need to be 19. There's no shame in having just 1 or 2 pans in your collection in a year, because it takes a long time to hit pan, especially on certain products, certain powder products. I do find that cream products can be a little bit easier to hit pan on, like this Fenty Beauty. With consistent use over a couple of months, I end up hitting pan on it. So, and then the other great thing about hitting pan or project panning is that you learn how you really feel about a product, whether you like it or whether you don't. And I find more often than not, when I work on something long enough to hit pan on it, I find that I actually like it more than I thought I did. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's very short and to the point video. I just thought it would be fun to go over these things because these are not empties for the year. I do have other products, of course, that I'm working on, trying to finish, a highlighter, a bronzer, you know, things like that. But with all that said, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate each and every single one of you. If you did find today's video entertaining or helpful in some way, I hope you will give this video a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. Then we can see each other in my next video, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days.